to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
A leaf? That's stupid. No one likes leaves.
No.
Well, the new ones don't look so bad. The new ones kind of look like a Corolla. The new Corollas.
Did you see the new Prius?
Mm-mm.
There's a new Prius that actually looks okay.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not terrible? Wait, I thought they were going to stop making the Prius and they were just turning everything into hybrid or an electric. I thought that was their plan.
Well, I just saw it. Toyota Prius 2023 has got to be what it is.
Oh, well then, yeah, they haven't canceled it yet.
Here it is. It's the
All right.
It's the quickest, most powerful, or most efficient Prius ever. Here, I'm going to send this to you because...
Okay. I'm going to be able to see this right here live. Just kidding.
Yeah. Where's...
Images.
Paste.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Ready, go. Send it to me.
Yeah.
Send it to me.
I did.
Oh, there it is.
Hey, it's your own internet.
Oh, it kind of looks like a Model 3 from this thumbnail.
It kind of has like a... What's that? An Oldsmobile Aveo kind of vibe to it a little bit.
I mean, if you
But like more
rework
modern.
those headlights, I would say that's a Model 3 from that profile.
But look at it from the back. Look at the next picture
Well,
now.
that's usually how I just judge everything.
Because you're a back man.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate Priuses. Prius. I hate them. I despise all of the Prius.
None of these images are loading up fast enough for me to see its ass.
You loaded the page I sent you.
Yeah, but where is it? Like hidden in a little catalog? I see the front.
No, it's a jalopnik.
I see tons of advertisements, related stories, thumbnails. How do I see the other pictures? There's not. There's no ass picture in this mobile version.
Yes. Oh, well, why? All right. One moment, sir.
If you could just send me the image you're trying to fucking...
I'm working on it.
Work with me.
There you go.
Ugh, messages.
Now we're relying on your home internet service.
Okay. Ooh.
See what I mean?
I don't not like that. That ass.
It's very sleek looking, but totally non-Prius. Also has a little hint of like
the Supra back there.
Or I was going to say more like Hyundai Kia. Like, they've got a lot of...
Yeah.
There's a lot of design cues that are being stolen from the South Koreans at this point.
I feel like that the taillight cut downwards towards the rear fender well.
That's kind of Camry.
Yeah, but that's also in that big rear haunch is their Supra is that way too.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look like a Lucid Air in the back, so that's a good thing.
It doesn't look terrible. I would say that is a much more appealing...
Far less offensive.
Yeah. I mean, that appears to be a significant cosmetic overhaul that would help you escape the trope of, I drive a Prius.
Right.
I would just say, I drive one of these, and just remove all the badging, and then be like, hey...
Well, the problem with that nowadays is most cars, especially if it's a crossover of any kind, you couldn't, if it didn't have badges on it, you almost wouldn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So many of the crossover things look so much alike now that like half the time I'm like, what is that? And then I have to wait for it to turn to see the rear, like the badge, like, oh, it's a Toyota or whatever.
Yeah.
They all look so similar that half the time, if I don't see a badge, like I may not be able to pick out. It used to be like, I used to play a game with myself where I'd be driving on the highway at night, and based on the headlights coming towards me, I could tell what kind of car it was.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be like, oh, here comes a blah, blah. And I was right probably 98% of the time.
Oh, yeah.
nowadays,
No.
if it's a broad daylight thing, I can't often tell what kind of car it is.
And too, what I've noticed of late is like a lot of the headlights have started to get like
skinny.
Like beams, like a little fucking thing. Like I got your laser projection, or you've got LEDs or something.
Yeah,
but they have gotten very small.
Well, that was the other thing too.
How are you stuffing that in there?
Sometimes I'm like, is that just daylight running lights, or are those the actual headlights? And it's actually what I'm finding is a lot of them now are the headlights.
And then you've got like the new like GMC Silverados, like the whole front fucking grill is like light.
Yeah.
What? I was having a talk with my dad about the Lightning, the Ford Lightning.
Uh-huh.
Like I get all electric. I'm excited about it. But if you're telling me that everything that's in here is running off the batteries, I tell you what, how about we do without that cosmetic light beam that's running? That's just electricity.
Well, they do it in the front and the back.
Right. I'm like, I don't need it.
Well, the good news
I would rather have that.
The cheap Lightning doesn't even have that one in the back, and I doubt it has it in the front. So if you buy the cheap one, you're saving.
Oh, there you go.
You're saving battery.
Automatic saved electricity.
Right.
See what I'm doing there?
Yeah.
Well, that ties me into welcome to Sad Dad's Club podcast episode. I don't even know because we skipped last week.
I think it's 116.
I'm the Lord Foo.
I'm Gymnasium.
216.
216.
Not 116.
Yeah, you're right.
Damn.
It feels like a long time since we did a show, but we just skipped last week, so sorry about that.
I mean, we had a super clean run.
4+ years
between Mr. Overbay filling in and Dave filling in. When I was out, we got all the way till, and then you fucked up. then you went and got.
Well, I tried. I was like, hey man, I'm not in a position to go tonight.
Yeah.
Feel like garbage. If you want, you can find somebody to fill in for me.
Right.
But
and I kicked it around.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I can do that because I had always thought about like if I had to have something in the holster, on the quick, I'd have dragged the kids in here and just had a talk with them about new social paradigms or something, like how's school and how's it different? Let's ask your dad anything type of thing. But we were prepping for Xander's marching band was doing a thing at Disneyland. We were already behind the 8 ball. I'm looking at this as like a cosmic hint that
a cosmic get out of jail free card.
It's okay. We'll put this together another day and we'll skip this one. We're doing it just for the fun anyway. It's okay.
Right.
We'll be okay. Well, I do apologize to any listeners who enjoy the habit. We apologize. But it happened, and
I did get a message from my buddy Josh. Hey man,
what the fuck?
What am I supposed to listen to?
# we're sorry.
Yeah.
So in the same vein of the car. So on our way down to Disneyland, we're taking the Explorer, and it never really dawned on me. First world problems, middle class. Like what's your Explorer get miles to the gallon? She's like,
I don't think about it.
Hey, right.
It's empty, and I fill it up.
She had a roundabout number, but she wasn't confident in it. And I went, well, all right. So I reset the gauge, and we're heading on our way. And somewhere about Sacramento, Stockton-ish, it's like
you were out of gas.
Yeah, right. we're barely cracking like 22.
Oh, wow.
To 23.
Okay.
Like barely. And I went, wow, this kind of sucks. Like, and I'll be honest, when I'm on the sauce in the RS,
oh yeah,
it's no better.
Right.
It's no better. And when I'm really in it, I'm getting high teens at best. But I can hit 6 on freeway and I'll push up into low 30s, mid 30s.
Mm-hmm.
But I really have to be like, make sure I'm in 6, and I have to be like gas conservation first.
Yeah.
And speed. But most of the time, again, first world problems, I'm happy with the 20s that I get. So in that vein, as we're like, wow, really? Is this okay? Now,
what's the power plant in that car?
turbo V6.
Twin turbo or
Turbo V6.
So okay.
So
Which
automatic.
I mean, the more boost you're putting in, the more fuel you're using.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So, mad props for I-5. The road condition, I guess through COVID or whatnot, or at least the 3-4 years since I have been on it and driving.
Are you gonna take away from my anger over how shitty it is?
When we were coming back, I was like, wait, where's that thing? Where's that thing that he hit? Fucking.
Oh, it's still there, I guarantee you.
I hit nothing.
But I think if you're in the slow lane is where you hit it, and it's right when I don't know what
you said 599.
Where 5 when you're coming up towards the southern end of Stockton area, and the freeway splits off, and there's like a long sweep.
Yeah.
There's a bridge in there, and if you're in the slow lane, you're gonna hit it hard.
Yeah.
But also, it depends on the tires. I have to admit, it probably does depend on the tires.
Okay.
So low pro tires, no bueno.
No bueno.
If you were in the RS, you would have felt it.
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah. So road condition I-5, very impressed. They've done a lot of work.
Fuck off.
There. I didn't hit any construction zones, anything like that. But as I was trying to eke out gas mileage,
sure,
I'm like, well, I'm going to pay attention. I'm not going to hot foot it. When we left, we actually passed the school, and the marching band was loading up on 3 tour buses. So we had like a 5 to 10 minute probably head start, but we're not a bus. So,
and what are they limited to? 60?
Right, whatever the speed limit is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And Piper probably would know. Or Venus even probably would know. But we're doing
75,
75-ish.
Mm-hmm.
We stopped Kettleman City at In-N-Out. Along the way, we were kind of like checking to see where Xander was, and we were ahead of him by a ways. So we pull In-N-Out. We hit our order. We're sitting down. We're chilling. We do our spot check. Where's Xander? He's across the street.
Oh,
the
damn.
bus is parked at in the long stretch by the gas station. And I went, he's here. And the first thing that came out of my wife's mouth was, wow, you were driving slow. I went, hey, God damn it. # I love my wife. But,
or the bus was traveling.
Right. I'm like, well, how far? Well, they were fucking hooking it.
Yeah. And is this a big yellow school bus?
No, this is a
chartered bus.
Yeah, it's like the all stars, white, big
gotcha.
guys, Prevost kind of things.
Okay.
So I sent him a quick DM. I'm like, lol, we're here too at In-N-Out. And then he said, like, where? And I take a picture from us, we're in the back corner. 5 minutes later, he walks in. We had just gotten our food. That's either how slow I was going or how fast these buses were fucking hooking it.
Right.
And then it was like, well, I didn't feel like I was going really that slow. And then it was tried the dawn. I'm like, well, what's that? I mean, I think 70 is the posted.
Right.
And I wasn't going slow, but I was managing the speed, and I wasn't trying to get there. I wasn't trying to beat anything.
Right.
I was just I'm getting hearsay. We had Emily, and I wasn't looking to prove it. I do that in the Ghost. I don't need to. I'm not drifting
in the family mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm driving safe, paying attention, watching the P's and Q's. draft. I'm not looking to cut out and pass anybody if I didn't need to. I'd back off. I had it on cruise control most of the way.
Yep.
I'm like, fucking, just chill drive. We're trying to maximize my gas mileage. I'm like, fucking. And it had dawned on me with the increase in speed limit. What used to be as a 20s and making that drive, like 75, you're like CHP, CHP,
Yeah.
CHP.
Yep.
I was getting, 85,
Yeah.
pressing high 80s into 90 was almost the new norm. I was getting passed repeatedly in a good clip by a bulk of the traffic. I'm like, fucking, this is where we're at like a casual, like, I'm not really starting to care or be concerned about getting popped by the fuzz.
At 75. No.
And I went, fucking, okay, well, all right. On the way back, I'm like, all right, well, fucking, we'll see how this one goes.
I mean, for me, I typically try to go no more than 8 or 9 over. And then in short spurts, if I got to like pass somebody or here comes some traffic and I need to get past this truck, I'll gun it and then go around the truck. I'll stay to the slower lane as much as possible. I want people to pass me because I want them to get the ticket.
Right. I don't want to stick out.
Yeah. 75 is on the lower end. I would usually be 78, 79.
Okay.
Typically.
Yeah.
And then that feels real fast.
Right. Yeah. On the way back, I was like, well, fucking, I'm not going to get shamed again for being slow guy because I'm the fast driving guy.
Right.
I pressed a good 80, 85. A good chunk of 85 was probably about my cap.
Yeah.
And I was still getting frequently passed by... I'm not talking Porsches and Speedsters,
Hyundai Elantras,
Kia Optima, CRVs and HRVs,
absolutely,
and fucking SIs every once in a while, Escalades and shit. Like guys that are getting mid-teens gas mileage are whipping past me,
right?
It was like this feels weird, like the huge increase in miles per hour, and I got 21.5 miles to the gallon coming back. So I lost 2 miles to the gallon, which may not seem like much, but the time gain was like negligible to me because it was like, well, I really wasn't tracking time. Obviously, I probably got here quicker. I made the same amount of stops, but was it worth the gas?
/risk.
Right. /risk. Yeah. Like, and it wasn't like I was having to like, weave in and out of cars. The general flow of traffic afforded a confident mid 80s. And that's just where we were. And it was like, man, when I was a kid, that drive was like, well, man, that's like a 7 to 8 hour drive.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, when the speed limit was 55 for a long time.
And now it's like, well, you can punch this through and not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close.
The worst is when you make great time down the Central Valley, down I-5, and then roll over the Grapevine and then come into the valley and then start hitting traffic.
Yeah, we got, holiday weekend, we ended up, we didn't really hit traffic. When we got going down into LA, we got. Yeah,
because you're coming in right at drive time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let's see, when did we?
And I think if you're going to Disneyland, there's no other easy route unless you know the freeway system really well.
Yeah.
You're sticking to the 5, and the 5 is the fucking worst.
Yeah. I think we came into town somewhere around 8.
I think you guys left a little later than I thought you would have.
Late 7.
Yeah.
We left somewhere after 1-ish.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really wasn't tracking the time part. It was just like, oh,
Get down there.
yeah, just get down
Just
here.
leave and
Yeah. But it was a non-issue drive.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, this is where we're at with the speed part. Like,
It's weird.
interesting. So what do you get in the caddy going down?
I think I'm somewhere in the neighborhood of like 34. 34, maybe 35.
And you're a turbo 4.
Yeah.
So, and automatic.
Yeah.
So,
8-speed auto.
yeah. So you probably get nice at the upper overdrive highway speed gears.
Mhm.
You probably just,
And I cruise control as much as possible, That's one of the things too, in particular, that car, when we moved Melly to the Portland area, and we were driving her car, so I think my wife was driving her car and I was driving the Cadillac by myself. And we drove, and I'm like, hey, how are you guys doing on gas? Like, I'm in the Cadillac. I know
right. You know where your
I know where I'm at.
markers are. You're right.
Now, this particular drive we hadn't done. So all bets are off as far as like where you stop to get gas.
Okay. Right.
One of the things that is noticeable is if you buy gas in Oregon, not only do you not have to pump it, but it's cheaper, right?
Okay.
Because they don't pay as much taxes and all that kind of shit. So we're driving, and you go up over the mountains as you cross the border, and it's like, don't get gas here, get gas in Oregon, it's cheaper, kind of a sign.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And you kind of come down off the mountain into the Ashland area.
Okay.
And my wife is messaging me and saying,
we're on fumes.
The gas light just came on, and I'm like, this is not what I had planned. Like, I didn't want to be in this position to where now I'm fucking stressed about where I'm going to get gas. But as it turns out, coming down the hill off the mountains into Ashland, there was a gas station, a Chevron. And it just worked out well, but it was still cutting it a little close for me.
When's the light come on for? It was a Subaru. Right?
It was, her Forester.
Quarter tank? Eighth of a tank?
I think eighth of a tank.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. And luckily also, like I said, it was a downhill.
Push the clutch in and get some of these neutral downhill.
Gets downhill, so it's like she wasn't using a lot of fuel, but that car does not do very well gas mileage wise. The Forester, it's terrible on gas mileage.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It runs regular unleaded, but it gets terrible mileage.
It probably can't be too much more aerodynamic than a Jeep. It's like a brick with wheels.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
It was weird on the drive on the way down. Somewhere, I think the kids were still kids, young adult ladies. They tried. So I'm just driving. Venus is she's doing like a color thing on an iPad, and the girls are shooting the shit with each other, and then they decide they kind of just like independent for a bit, and it got real quiet in the back seat, and I hear like both of them typing, going batshit
furious typing.
Furious typing. They're both doing homework,
nice,
on their Chromebooks in the back seat, and I just went, "Fucking, how crazy is that?" They're
right.
Like when we were kids, back seat trying to do homework. Fuck off.
Right.
Not happening.
No.
And they went on for a good 20 to 30 minutes. Like I mean, with the way they were typing, they probably wrote a 4-page paper each. It sounded like.
Yeah.
And I went, man, how convenient that would have been when, like,
and to hotspot your phone and all that.
Yeah, to have a fucking just cranking out homework on the drive. I mean, it's hours long.
Yeah.
Like, and when we were kids, it was just kind of like stare out the window.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, you want to play the license plate game?
Yeah. When do we get that? It's like fucking. Now it's not like, shut up, we'll get there when we get there. It's like, do your homework because you can.
Yeah.
You do it.
You have 3 devices in your pocket you can be fucking with.
Yeah.
Stop mugging me.
When we got down to the hotel, Piper was like, "Oh, how do I, I don't want to use the Wi-Fi here, the hotel Wi-Fi." I'm like, "Well, your phone has a hotspot." So she like literally just hotspotted her Chromebook to pull down the next batch or upload her existing homework that she had started on. She's like, "Oh, well, yeah, I guess." I'm like, "Yeah, that's probably the problem you didn't want me to just solve for you, right?"
Right.
She's like, "Oh." Because, like, when we get down anywhere, shut your Wi-Fi off and turn the VPN on. You don't do anything over anybody's free fucking Wi-Fi.
Right.
She's like, "Oh, I got this thing and get into the Wi-Fi." I'm like, "Your phone. Use your phone. You have unlimited data.
Yeah.
You're just doing shit off a Chromebook." I'm like, "Low bandwidth.
Yeah.
Turn your hotspot on. Set your password." She's like,
"You're not watching Netflix movies on there."
"Oh, yeah, that's easy."
Yeah.
And I went, "Huh?" But I'm like, the whole school, I'm like, man, all that time is now useful given how far we are with tech.
Yeah.
Like, and the Chromebook's super lightweight. It's not this huge heat thing.
It's not a MacBook Pro or
just like generating grotesque amount.
HP.
I need a plug because I can't. She's just both of them. And I'm like, as a fucking nerd and like a computer guy, I'm like, wow, that's kind of. I like the sound of like people. It was like ASMR from my back seat. I'm like, oh, wow, it's like being in an office and they're like rattling off.
So Tony
keystrokes.
Tony Overbay and I, we used to do the KingSuperfans.com website together. And so if we went to Disneyland, I would have to take my laptop with me. And even though I was on vacation or whatever we were doing, the end of the night, we would get back to the hotel room and I'd crack the laptop open and I would have to especially if it was during basketball season, I'd have to update all the stats. If there was a game that the Kings played, there would have to be things that were uploaded, stories that were written that were uploaded, stats for all the Western Conference or whatever would all have to be updated for the standings and all that kind of. Oh my God. I forgot about how I used to do that whenever we went to Disneyland. So there was probably an hour's worth of work typically with the laptop.
During season.
Yeah. Every night when we would come back to the room, you'd be fucking dead tired. All you want to do is take off your shoes and go to bed.
Yeah.
And I would have to like crack open the laptop and work for like an hour.
NBA shit.
Yeah. It was brutal.
It was, we got a taste and it hit us when we got unpacked. We got to the hotel and we unpacked. So Piper and Emily were with us just because, hey, trip to Disneyland, why not? But they're young adults, so they could do whatever they wanted if they wanted. So Venus and I got unpacked, and I'm like, I've been sitting, driving. My legs need more exercise and movement.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, let's go to downtown Disney. Like, let's just get some steps in. We'll go to downtown Disney, And the girls were like, "I'm gonna stay here and fucking watch TikTok or some shit." I'm like, "Well, okay,
yeah,
I'm going to that." So, and Venus came with me, and we're doing the walk, and we kind of got that like, wow, this is what it's like to be unchained from supervising a minion.
Yeah.
Xander was with the school, so they were all like bunked with friends at another place. And Piper and Emily didn't need us. So it was like, holy shit. It's like, date night.
What do you want to do?
Right. I'm like, well, let's fucking, we're wandering in the stores. That part of, like the dad mode, like, fuck it, switched it off. Yeah. Like my son is being chaperoned with the school.
I'll see him tomorrow,
and he right. I'll if I need to whoop ass, I'll see him tomorrow. He's expected to behave. My daughter's an adult. with an adult friend who are probably just going to stay inside.
And they're not even old enough to drink yet.
Right. I'm like, I'm in husband mode.
Yeah.
It was fucking amazing.
It's pretty cool.
I enjoyed it. We're just walking. We walked the entire length, played some ingress, got some levels because I reset on the way down. We're looking for pins for, there was no, I love being a dad, but being unchained in that moment from having to protect mode, all I had to worry about was my lovely wife.
Coordinate protection.
Right. It was like, no. Oh, what do you want to do? Oh, let's go down. Are you hungry? I'm not hungry right now.
I want to walk into this shop.
Yeah, let's go. Like the full length of Disney, like looking at stuff, taking an amount of time, and I'm not looking to see if, I'm just with Venus. I'm just with her.
Yeah.
That's it. We went and saw all the things. We just had adult conversations, without having to censor. Got all the way down, turned around. I want hot chocolate. Fuck it, me too. Stopped in the Starbucks, got coffee or hot chocolate.
Right.
Drank it at our own speed on the way back. It was just kind of like, man, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is gonna be cool. I look forward to that.
This is how adults operate.
Yeah, this is amazing. And the other thing too that helped alleviate we had one of Piper's besties from high school, Sophia. If she ever listens to this, I can't thank her enough. She dog watched, and you were on call. My wife apparently arranged, so thank you for that. Not that you would have been able to do anything because you were DOA.
I didn't even think about that until later.
Sophia stayed here. She pretty much house sat and stayed with the dogs. What made it super awesome was that she enjoyed. I was starting to get nervous because she stopped by once to get like a breakdown from Piper, but it was in the middle of the day and I was working. And while my daughter loves the dogs and knows the basics of like care for the dogs and the poop and the feeding times and how much and how the dogs on a basic level do their thing, like the 10 to 15 minutes that she was here, I sent a thing to Venus. I'm like, there's no way. Like there are like
coverage was limited.
Yeah. And like, yeah, here you come in the door and here and the TV.
You made it to the house.
And
all
the
right,
food and
take it
water
easy.
they drink here, and the beds. And this is my room and here are the bathrooms. And, I love you and thank you so much. And I told Venus, like right off the gate, I'm like, she's going to have to come back. Like when you and I are here so we can.
More dump.
Right. Yeah. Like, that didn't happen. What ended up happening was me writing 2 8.5 by 11 sheets of like behavior stuff. It was super cute. And it reminded me a lot of when we essentially, when we got Jax from Brad and his wife, his wife kind of had like a resume request, like this is the job, like this is his thing. And it was the first time in like, well, we've never like taken in a dog that wasn't ours from the get-go,
right? So
it was like, oh, this is kind of weird. But at the same time, the care and love that they had for Jax to make sure that he went to a home that was like, we need you to love the dog, not have the dog. As I'm writing out this thing of all of the nuance and little things that were special about how the dogs behave, not just like feed, water, the basics on how to, it was like, I'm writing the same kind of thing.
Right.
And it wasn't to be nitpicky or micromanage. It was like, hey, because she wanted to like bring in like I want to get him treats and take him for a walk. While Data has taken them for a walk, I wrote on a thing. I'm like, listen, I totally can appreciate your want to like, but we don't take them for walks, and when we do, they're a handful. If you would try and do it, plus Jax is like pressing 70-something fucking pounds, maybe give or take 5.
He could lift a Volkswagen Beetle on his own.
Yeah. He's a handful. He's well behaved, but Shiny, oddly enough, is not. She's like all over the place. So it was like, they're not very good on the leash. So it's okay. They'll be okay. You don't have to take them for a walk. They won't really appreciate it as much as they would if you just walk out back. They'll follow you out back, and they'll kind of goof around in the yard. And then you can come in when you want, and they'll follow you back in. They'll be just as happy to go outside with you in the backyard as if you were to try and wrangle them, and maybe something goes sideways, and now we're in a pickle because they're not very leash behavior trained. Yeah. Like, don't worry about it. It's okay. Also, you don't want to bring them any treats because both of them will have the worst gas ever, particularly Jax. They sleep on the bed. They both sleep on the bed. So if you, Shiny will whine at you because she's just fucking needy, a needy little bitch princess. Mm-hmm. Like, please touch me. And I want to lay on you. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of cold, and I would like to sleep under the blanket now. I'm like, they will sleep with you on the bed. Please, it's okay. And expect whining from Shiny. Jax is a protector. He barks at anything, I think, under 80 hertz. Whether that's an engine, an exhaust note, a low rumble of a delivery truck, or given his walleye depth perception and his gaze, you would think he can't see, but he'll bark at a hawk 300 feet in the fucking air that you're like, how could you see that? Or a helicopter. He has a keen sense of smell and will smell a dog walker only after they have passed by about 2 minutes. So you're like, what the fuck are you barking at?
The smell drifts in.
Right. I'm like, don't be angry at him. He's a protector. It's what he does. You can ask him to be quiet, and he'll calm down. Like, and then when you come in, whether you're gone 5 minutes or 2 hours, it's going to be the same to both of them. They'll be like, hey, man, I missed you so much.
Right.
You'll get a shower.
Yeah.
She read it, had laughs, good stuff, and all throughout us being gone was taking pictures of the dogs and like sending us TikToks and making jokes. And then by the end, it was like, I don't want to leave. He's such a doof, and Shiny is like always up in my shit, and I love it. And it was like, it helps my separation anxiety because I knew that the person that was here was just awesome. Like, enjoyed their company and got like the little things. Also, I'm like, don't leave paper towels, a tissue, toilet paper, or anything, any piece of, or sock, anklet. I didn't mention any undergarments, but I'm like, don't leave it out. He'll eat it, and given the time it'll take to get to his GI tract, I'll be pulling it out of his butthole when you're gone.
Yeah.
She did amazing. She, even though I put it on there, she didn't sleep in the bed and she kept getting them off the bed because she, for whatever reason, didn't think. She slept on the fucking couch with them because that's where they were comfortable. So she deserves something else, and I'm going to figure out how to get that to her on the slide because she didn't have to sleep on the couch, but she did in order to make my dogs more comfortable. And all of that gets passed to Emily, who will be watching the dogs while we're in Fiji. So, like, Emily got to see Venus and I's, like, more so me, as we were getting stuff in Disneyland. And then she also got, like, the derivative nuance that was dictated that Sophia got. So now she can, like, they can bounce. Anyway, it was super awesome.
We've had the exact opposite experience on a one or two occasions, which
With
is
Max?
No, with Nacho.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where it was like we went out of town and left him in the care of someone specific, and I don't want to name names here.
Mm-hmm.
And to find out that they hadn't been by the house all day long, kind of thing. And
See, that would.
Oh, dude, it really pissed us off. To be quite honest, it's frustrating, especially when you're 400 however many miles away, and there's nothing you can do, and you're picturing accidents in the house,
right,
or whatever that is unnecessary, you know.
Yeah.
So, when you have someone that cares for your animal, it's special compared to the couple of times we had where the person who we thought would do the best job fucked up.
Oh, that's that. Yeah. And that's unfortunate. And Kim has stayed here before. Kim's done the same thing, I think, but because Kim was a mom, she didn't have an opportunity to stay here for the length of time that having like an actual house sitter like Sophia did.
Right.
I have no, which is not to begrudge Kim's care anyway. Kim's a pet person and she's allowed, anytime. But this was like,
oh yeah,
this like black card level of like care for the dogs because Sophia got to stay here.
Right.
So like much ideal situation for me.
Right.
And it was like,
that's hard. Yeah.
And as much as like they're like the girls have like these weighted stuffies, like like kind of like not a weighted blanket, but the concept is the same. Even though I probably sleep in a discomforted spaghetti noodle of a way
wrapping around the dogs,
right? The weighted pressure of both dogs is like a same kind of concept.
It's comforting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I may have said it before. Like if Venus and I are like taking a nap, I sleep better when she's kind of sleeping, like at least not necessarily a spoon, but like halfway on me. Like with the head on the shoulder with like one leg over me. Like her body weight gives me sleep comfort. We tend to not to be able to sleep that way anymore. One, dogs. Two, both of us at our age apparently generate like a grotesque amount of body heat.
Sweat.
Like
or the dead arm.
Yeah, the Matrix thing and like the whole thermals, like, yeah, I believe it. We generate, and then it's like, oh, now I'm hot, and there's like a swamp between my rib cage and her belly, or my belly and her rib cage, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
time out.
Or my arm is completely fucking dead or something.
But when we're like up on top of the blankets midday, the temperature's just right. If we're both just passed out, like that's the quick good sleep. The dogs, when they do kind of the same, not perfectly, but it's close. I'm like, man, some of these things, like, that's nice.
Yeah,
I didn't realize. I slept fine in Disneyland, but it's probably because your legs are so fucking tired. But you could tell, like, oh, it's like when your spouse or partner or something and like is like gone for the weekend and you have the whole bed to yourself and you're just kind of like, well, starfishing is kind of nice, but I do kind of like that presence in the area And
Yeah.
it might maybe the first 2 nights it feels like, yeah, fuck yeah, I got the whole bed, man spread. But then you're like,
I miss that person.
no, I need a body pillow or something.
Yeah.
'cause-
Yeah.
Anyway, so good person to take care of the dogs.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, the worst is having the opposite of that, which we had a couple times from people that we didn't expect it from.
That's
And
unfortunate.
It was really frustrating.
And you haven't. Oh, you've left Max with Datas and Nicole.
Yeah, he went.
So
over
he
to their
gets
house.
he gets good guest stoppings there.
Yeah, he actually went over to their house and stayed there. And then he was ready to go home.
And then he was ready to go.
Yeah, he was like,
Yeah, when we
"Oh."
got home, both the dogs were like, oh. It was like, when you see service people return home and a dog recognizes
Oh, yeah.
them. Like both of them had that like, that like excited whine.
Right.
Like, oh, fuck, you're back.
Yeah. Melly's coming home next week, and so it'll be interesting to see how Max reacts.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Because she calls him Wormy. So when she's on the phone with my wife,
Mm-hmm.
she'll be yelling, Wormy! And he'll like hear it and kind of look around.
What?
Yeah. Wait, I've heard that before.
Where is that coming from?
So it'll be interesting to see, I think a week. Oh, we have to talk about this. Next Wednesday, she comes home. So, yeah, I have to, so it's an airport run.
Oh,
We may have to go early or something, but
that's fine.
yeah, so that'll be interesting.
So, the ride. Before we get into it, I would like to tell you, because I wrote a funny haha. It was the rise of the struggles.
Okay.
Because my wife, this is my journey towards Rise of the Resistance ride at Disneyland. My wife's goal, real main goal, second goal, main one was Xander. So their marching band had their own run from the Christmas tree rotunda,
Main Street. Mm-hmm.
all the way out through the rope drop spot
Mm-hmm.
up to God, I think they exited out like Small World.
Yep.
It was unlike when Piper did it. Piper was like part of like a parade,
Mhm.
so they were like inside, like bookended by other things. This one with Xander, they had the run all to themselves, so they were the only spectacle
Oh.
there. So that was really nice. He was front row. We got to see him, pictures and whatnot. So that was primary goal. Secondary goal for my wife was get my husband on Rise of the Resistance.
Absolutely.
So Friday, we got there Thursday. Friday morning, the plan was rope drop, get there early, rope drop, and
Straight to Rise.
hook it straight to Rise, because they've removed Fast Pass and they have some bullshit thing called Lightning Lane.
Registration kind of thing.
Lame. And you can only use the Lightning Lane once if the ride has it per ride. So there wasn't any way to get what I'll probably interchangeably use Fast Pass and Lightning Lane. So
Yeah.
there's
My
your,
understanding is Fast Passes are no more.
that is correct.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Mm-hmm.
The Lightning Lane, and it costs money once per ride per day, and not all rides have it.
Right.
And you can't stack them up, I believe, like you could Fast Passes. So I think you can have, my wife will correct me, but I believe you couldn't have more than 2 Lightning Lane things on deck. Whereas Fast Passes, you could fast, and essentially book your entire day on rides.
Right.
And bebop in between. This is anyway. Rise doesn't have that, so the intent was get in the park as early as possible, straight to Rise, ride it, and if there was going to be a Lightning Lane for it, we could then use the Lightning Lane
And ride it again.
ride it again on the quick.
Yeah.
Turns out didn't have Lightning Lane anyway. So we get into the park, we're there for the rope drop, hooking it straight to.
And that's a long haul.
It is. It's at the end.
It's as far away as possible.
It's at the end.
Yep.
So we're heading there. We're early. We're there for rope drop.
Yeah.
Straight to Rise. We get to the transition space between Frontierland and Star Wars Galaxies, and there's a cast member there basically going, Rise of the Resistance is closed. There's no ETA for return to service. And we went, fuck. What do we do now?
Hungry Bear?
Yeah. So we walked around. We found other options. So that goes the bulk of Thursday.
You had a big chunk of time, right, where it was down.
Yes. Then I think, and we're shooting around Xander's Parade, which was noon-ish 1. So even if it came online, if we weren't, we weren't in the region to get in line, we couldn't be in line for an hour at 10 or 11 because then we probably wouldn't make it back. So the bulk of that first morning was shot.
Yep.
But the ride wasn't even open, I think, until post midday anyway.
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, well, plan B, let's start. We have to stay in Disneyland. So we started doing other rides to fill the time. It was like, And then when it did come online, it was 85 minutes, 110 minutes.
Yes.
195 minutes, 210 minutes. And I'm like, no. Once that started happening and it got closer to the end of the day, it was like, one, I'm tired of standing in line. I'm tired of standing, period. And I'm not going to stand for pressing 2.5 hours. I really want it. But no. So we rode plenty of stuff, but then it was kind of like, well, fucking, how's this going to go? Saturday, we had to spend the front end of the day in.
So you had.
We had park hoppers, but we started the front end of the day in California Disney.
Because you have to reserve which park you're going to start at.
Right. So we couldn't come.
Until noon?
1.
1 o'clock.
Yes,
yeah.
1. So we couldn't come back into normal vanilla Disney until 1. So we bebopped around California Disney, did a bunch of stuff, saw the Avengers campus, geeked out all over the place. You had a hair's opportunity to take a picture with Iron Man, but he was having some sort of costume malfunction. There was a line.
Junk was showing?
I don't know what it was, but we started walking. We're like, he was kind of in a nook next to an Avengers symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was blind to us as we're walking past. I'm like, oh, well, someone's back here. It's a cast member. And we started to walk past. The queue for him was probably 6 to 7 people. And it's Iron Man. And I'm like, oh, shit. Then I'm kind of like, wow, that's cool. But I'm seeing him try and gesture with his handler. And I'm kind of like, oh, fuck. And Venus is already getting in line. She's like, no. We're getting this picture. You get this picture. I'm like, okay. And I'm fucking 13 years old. I want to get my picture with Iron Man. But I'm making the adult read of body language.
He needs to leave.
He's trying to pull plug. He's trying to get
his diaper's full.
Yeah. And they made a quick, I gotta make a poopy. I don't know if he's yes, Ant-Man can lick my balls. Ant-Man can lick my balls. Ant-Man can lick my, something's broken. Something's broken. So they made a quick beeline towards a nook. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm not going to, who knows if he's done or he's coming back in 20 minutes. I'm like, they're trying to condense as much as possible. So didn't get that opportunity, but we saw the new Black Panther cast member. We saw M'Baku, the guy who's kind of the guerrilla faction. We saw the Dora Milaje do a thing. I don't know if we saw anybody else. We saw the Guardians of the Galaxy. We saw Star-Lord doing we heard it. We were on the line for Guardians of the Galaxy. We heard him doing he does like a dance-off skit right there in front of Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's funny to listen to like the good oldies songs as he's trying to do a dance-off with Gamora or something and some random dude. We couldn't see, but it was like, yeah, I can see how this is hilarious.
Right.
Like someone's having a good time.
Sure.
We ate at Pim's, which was cute and fun. We didn't get any booze. Rise of the Resistance. So we cut back over into Disneyland at 1, still trying to dodge and find the time. I think
without waiting in a 200+ minute line.
I think goddamn it. At some point, it was right about 1. The timing went way, way, way down, and it was like, we need to go. That's right. As soon as we got into the park, I think it was like 85 minutes. And Venus was like, yeah, that's probably going to happen because the park cutover is happening. So you've got people switching parks. The lines start to die down. Like, here's the shoot the gap.
Yeah.
So we get back into Disneyland, beeline straight to Rise of the Resistance. I think the timing on the app actually said something closer to 55, and we were like, fuck yeah, here we go. As we got into line, there was like a cast member standing outside, like next to the sign that had the time posted, and you heard him go, it says 55 on the app, but it's probably closer to 85. And he's just like, it's not going to get any better than this.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I'm like, here it is. We're probably in line for maybe 20 minutes. And it's well past 80. Like, you can tell we're going to be way past 85 at this point to get up there. Venus can't remember how long the line is,
the queue
in the cave part. She's like, I don't know how soon, but we're in line probably 20 minutes, and then over the PA, attention Disney, we are currently having a problem with the ride. You're more than happy to stay in line and wait, but if you would like to exit, please exit the way you came.
That's hilarious because that's the same exact thing that happened to us when we were there last time.
And we're like, well,
and we were way deep.
What does this mean?
We were way deep in the queue, like inside the building, and that happened, and we just like, fuck it. We just like sat. Luckily, there was places to sit.
Yeah,
we could sit down, and everyone just sort of chilled for a while, and I think we sat there for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. So the probably at that first message, there was an exodus, not massive. But you could tell it was like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
It gave you that false feeling of like moving up, but we were still outside in the switchbacks for another good 10 minutes. The message came over, rinse, repeat. Like, we're really sorry about the delay. We're having a technical difficulty. You're more than happy to wait if you want. We're working on it, but if you would like to leave, just go out, exit the way you came. And then we got a wave of like 5 to 10 people. And the line moves up a little bit. And Venus is like sending something to her friend Adrienne, who's basically like, if cast members aren't coming and moving people out, they're actively working on it.
Yeah.
Stay in line. Just stay in line.
Yeah.
I think another good half hour with messages, maybe another 15 minutes, every 15 minutes or so, the guy saying the same thing. Like, and you get an exodus of people, and we move up, but we were still outside of the caves.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like now we're in line easily an hour plus. And the girls are definitely like the discomfort in the legs. And every time there's an opportunity to sit, they're sitting. I'm like, take it,
Yeah.
And Venus is like, yeah, Adrian is saying if the cast members aren't clearing out the line, they're not going to shut it down for the day. They're actively trying to work the problem.
Right.
And she's like, there are a lot of moving parts. It's entirely possible that if they fix the thing, whatever it is, the other 80% of the ride will be fine.
Yeah.
She's like, we stay in line. But she is having to like move her food orders around because we're like hot doing the mobile orders from like a couple of places. So I think we're in line probably good pressing. I think it ended up at least 2 hours because we had to move orders from like 4 into 5.
2 hours.
Yeah. And eventually we got to the entrance of the caves. And then Venus is like sending the things. She's like, I don't remember how long is the line inside the caves. Like, are we close? Is it like, and the ladies are like, I don't remember. It's you're kind of close, but it kind of just depends.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, already we got another PA system. I'm like, well, if they're not going to clear us out, this may be the one shot. It's like, what we don't have tomorrow. I got nothing else to do. I've been on all the other rides. If
this is the one thing.
If the girls are okay, and Venus is like, well, stay in line. We're stay in line. Just stay in line.
Like if you've already spent 2 hours,
right?
What's another
and they're not
half an
pushing
hour?
us out.
Right.
I'm like, I'm going to trust the system that they're actively working on it, and they have hope because otherwise they would have cleared the people out to tell them go enjoy the rest of the park, kind of thing.
Yeah,
or go buy more shit. We get into the caves. These messages continue to come through about every 10 minutes. Please, if you'd like to leave, we start getting closer to like a lot of like the prop areas where they've got lockers with pilot gear and guns and stuff. And I think we had moved her mobile food order like from 4:30 to 5. And like we didn't necessarily have a heads up, but like the last one came through, and I went, "Listen, the people are hungry." She kind of had to potty, and I'm like, "It's okay. I mean, if it doesn't happen, it's okay." Like I'm like, we're not going to move the food order anymore, and we started seeing. A couple people like small like 3s and 4s starting to come out, but no one was really asking like how much further up there is the actual thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
especially for you've never been on it.
Right, so yeah. I have no idea.
Yeah,
but we're in a nook and everyone can sit, so it's kind of like I'm fine, but we're not moving the mobile order again. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's a ride. It'll be okay. We'll come back again.
I'm so disappointed.
Right. God damn it! This is bullshit. There was I think a husband and wife who walked past us on their way out, and he got like maybe 2 turns of the serpentine, and like on his way out, he's kind of like, "Stay strong, don't lose hope," kind of thing, and the audible like white noise stuff about like like the skit that's going over the comms like stops and it's like silent, and then it was like wait for like a minute, and then it was kind of I'm making jokes like, oh, they're totally rebooting the shit.
Yeah.
They're like flipping switches and be like, just power it back on.
Right.
I'm like, it feels like
Chopper was preparing.
Yeah,
everything.
we're like in a reboot situation here. Like they're just rebooting shit. And the guy comes back on, and he like starts it. He's like, if you're, never mind. Like it wasn't a stay, don't go. It was like he was coming out to say something, and you're like,
ooh, he was going to, but then he
cut
axed
it
it.
off.
And I went, oh, here, we've
Yeah.
got this one.
Yeah.
And the guy that was like 2 serpentines out the door, he turns his ass around. And he's like, oh.
I better get back
Yeah.
on my spot.
I hope they let me back in my spot. And you get the hers about the guys that are giving him shit like, yeah, you get to live with this one. You were weak. You failed this city. Like, you didn't have the fortitude. About another 5 minutes go past, and from blind to me, clapping, huzzah, and you just get the like, yeah, but everyone's clapping, but no one probably really knows out here why. It's just like mob, yay, clap hands. But then the line started fucking moving,
Right.
and it was, and Venus is like, yeah, here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, thank you for your patience, and start putting us in carts. Best ride ever.
Worth it.
Worth it. An absolute experience.
Yes.
This is not just a roller coaster. This is not just like Star Tours. This is not like Indiana Jones. It is all of those things and some, because it involves you in a physical manner. You are moving from ride aspects, and they change environments on you, and they use that motion, that fake motion of like the Star Tours thing where you're like, oh shit, like I'm moving, but we're not really moving. That sort of inducing of the of movement to change where you're at changes the set entirely.
Oh, yeah.
And
some bits of it you walk through.
right.
It blows my
Like,
mind.
oh, shit. Now, could they have put an animatronic or something a little bit better of a Poe in his X-Wing? Probably, because he's giving you, in that previous sequence before you come outside, he's talking to you from his X-Wing, and yet all you see is like silhouette. Like, if there was just some dude in there, like doing this for a 30-second skit,
Yeah.
it probably would have been nitpicking.
Yeah.
The set changes, and the usage of some of the more new stuff using like light painting and really good hologram stuff, animatronics, absolutely blew my mind.
And what's wild to me is the how spacious it all feels.
Yes.
Some of the sets were they felt so big
Yes.
that you're like, how is this even possible?
Yeah, like how did we and as certainly if you've been on, you go on it multiple times, you're going to lose some of that specialness, but that first one, like, wait, how did you're so, I'm going to say, bewildered about how something just happened that you're lost
Yeah.
in the fantasy. It
Yes.
was absolutely I'm just going to spoil this part because now we can talk about it. The destroyer hangar, if you've watched any of the movies, the Empire cleanliness and
Yes.
sterileness and the sharpness, along with how it's all portrayed, like, I wonder what it would look like on set of that movie. Like, what would this look like? Nailed it.
And I think even it's better
Yes.
than the
You're like,
actual set
ooh,
because it is
shit.
360 degrees.
right. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You're like, I feel like I am in the fucking
I'm
hangar.
here.
Yeah.
The projection, the projection of what would be the hangar exit, like covering a force field and seeing the infinite of space, like, didn't look so much like a TV or a projection that you're like, oh, it looked crystal clear. You're like, oh man, if I let my mind go, I am in space.
Yeah.
This is it. It was amazing. And Venus is like, and this is one of the few places in Disneyland in any attraction where the cast members can be rude because the Empire, so they can be short.
Yep.
They don't always have to smile.
Yeah, they're playing a role.
They're playing a role.
Yeah.
Like they are turt. They're not calling you names or anything, but they're abrupt, turt, and just kind of like abrasive. But
it's sort of like when you run across the stormtroopers when you're in Star Wars Land.
Yeah.
How they have that
demeanor,
that leeway.
Yeah.
And it's similar to Rise of the Resistance in the ride, where they have that playfulness with you.
Yes.
Because it's part of the shtick.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, what's crazy is how some bits of the ride, you're moving at such a clip, you don't even really realize, I mean, unless you're hyper-focused or unless you've ridden it a couple of times, you don't spatially even know where you are half the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The constant, like, disorienting of, like, the spinning of the car.
Yeah.
Like, all of the audio cues and effects, when you're in the cell and you're hearing conversation and dudes like banging and stuff in the rafters or the AC ducts, and you're like, man, that okay, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
The lightsabering of the doors,
Yes,
or the lasers cutting of the doors. I'm like, I'm
do
audibly going, wow, okay, that's happening right now.
Yeah.
It looked awesome.
And the room with the walkers.
Yeah, like,
oh
what
shit.
is going on here?
That is how big they are.
The shooting, everything is coming at you. You're like, what? And you're moving so fast, but the set pieces are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. The some of the animatronics did look a little the lightsaber coming out of the ceiling. They nailed that.
Yeah.
All grins. I felt like a little kid.
Yeah.
It was, my legs would tell you, I don't know, but my heart and the little kid in my head was like, that was worth it. Absolutely tenfold. I will try to make an opportunity to get on that fucker every time I'm there.
Oh, absolutely.
It was absolutely a ball.
Yeah.
Absolutely a ball. If you are a fan, or even if you enjoy a multifaceted experience as far as like a ride, an attraction ride.
Yeah.
This had, a roller coaster is kind of like one dimensional.
This is immersive.
Yes, extremely immersive.
Yeah.
There are drops and twists and disorientations and faux perception changes, really good animatronics, gorgeous set pieces, light work,
bits you walk through,
and you also are part of it as you're a participant. You're not just like, oh, I'm in the harness and I'm yay, and that's exciting. But this was like, oh shit, I'm an actor in the experience.
Yeah.
Like I'm here. You want to get on that ride. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, the amount of immersion opportunities that this ride affords you, it's a ball. It really is.
My wife is not a Star Wars person, but she really enjoys that ride.
Does she?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be a fan to enjoy the ride. It's a lot of eye candy.
Well, like
it's a lot of eye candy.
We were talking about this the other night, how she fucking can't stand stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And that ride she loves. So that says something.
That's I mean, if you could stomach the ride, or the line, make it an opportunity.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, you're a cold, heartless bastard. Because it's really enjoyable. It really is. I definitely try and make it.
And just go to Magic Mountain at that point.
Right.
You know.
I have. God damn, we're way at time. I have a quick one. It's a total.
Sorry.
It's a total dad.
I'm
mode.
still recovering.
Yeah. See, we got time to make up for last week, so the download will be long, but I hope you enjoy it. So we're in. I packed light because I was like, "Hey, I think I said a number of times, like I'm taking big wallet and Daddy's just. I'm buying loot when
Just
I get
chaps.
Yeah,
That's it.
I'm getting stuff.
Yeah.
Dad mode kicked in. That gratuitous shopper just didn't happen because, like, I don't really need it. Yeah, it was late Saturday night. We're in a California adventure, and I saw some kid with Mjolnir. So this would be Thor's hammer from the new movie where Jane Foster has it. So Lady Thor, where it's all broken. And I went, oh, because I haven't seen one of those. I have the normal Mjolnir, like I put together, like pre-Hela destroyed it. So I saw it and I went, oh shit, I haven't seen one of those. Where are those at? Like curious. And Venus goes, oh, it's like the you put the Coke in it. It holds a Coke, like a bottle Coke.
Oh.
And I went, oh well, I don't need that. She's like, oh, have you seen? Yeah, there's an Infinity Gauntlet that does the same thing. Like I saw it. Yeah. And I'm like, oh well, then, yeah, I don't need that. We're making our way past the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. There's before you get to that perception thing that's painted on the wall, like at the end, that at the one end of this main street there, and there's a shawarma cart and the refreshments cart that sells them. And we walk past it, and Venus goes, "Oh, there they are." And I'm like, I don't really need it. I'm okay. And there is a dad on a bench with like his wife and like his kid, and we're walking past them, and I'm like, "Oh, he's got one," and it catches my eye to the side of my eye. I look at it, and it's lit up. So you can see and it's nighttime, so you can see the cracks, and I went, oh, shit.
Now I have to do it.
Now I have to. And the dad heard me, and he's like, oh, you need this. You need it. And Venus goes, get it. And I went, I'm fucking turning around. I'm going to go get it. So I walk up to the refreshment cart, and I go, I'm like point blank, like squeeing out of my mind here. And I just go, listen, I don't know what I need to buy, but I need the hammer. I need the hammer. And Venus was like over my shoulders, like, you have to buy a drink. I'm like, I'll take a Coke. I need the Coke and the hammer, whatever it is. And she's like, the lady's like, young lady, and she's like, and Venus is like, you make her feel awkward. I'm like, I just need the hammer.
Yeah.
Hammer, please.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm like, and a Coke, because Emily drinks Coke. I'm like,
$79.
Yeah, she's like, it's $29.95, and I'm like, fucking whatever. Boop, boop, tap to pay, motherfuckers. Give me the hammer. And so she gives me the hammer. She's like, hey, can you pull the tab here for the batteries out? And this is the power button, and it has multiple modes. And if the hammer breaks, you bring the receipt back, but it's only good for today. If it, we'll give you a new one for the day. And I went, you won't see me again. Gave the Coke to the girls, hammer around my arm, and I'm carrying this fucker around like I'm Thor all the way out California Disney. We had to make another run back into normal Disneyland.
Yeah.
Somewhere about the Christmas tree, I just turned it off because I'm like, I don't know how long batteries are going to last here. But I turned it off. But I'm still holding it out.
Yeah.
Like I am a bad motherfucker with Mjolnir. We fit in another Space Mountain ride. So we're on our way towards it. The Christmas parade had just ended. We're trying to get there on the quick. I get left behind a dad, a mom, pushing a stroller with a young girl who's maybe 9 or 10, like doing the dancers pose stuff in between the stroller and a rope line. and I'm trying to do the quick
Right.
pass.
Yep.
And in the moment I get right next to this girl, she decides it's time to do a pirouette and be fancy. And I've got a Coke, not the Coke, but a cup of refreshments in my right hand and Meow Meow in my left hand. And she almost into me, but I'm fine. She doesn't hit me. She doesn't touch me.
Yeah.
But I quick dodge around her, and the dad's like, "Sweetheart, you got to be paying attention." I get around her, and I get 3 or 4 steps in front of her, and I hear behind me, "Hey, Dad, he has the hammer. How can he lift the hammer?" And so the Marvel fan and dadded me immediately recognizes she still believes she's into the fantasy part. She still abides by the rules that the hammer can only be held by someone who is worthy. And if you're holding it, you have the power of Thor.
Yeah.
And I hear this and I'm like, this is like the last opportunity you get to like make your kids know that Santa is real, that kind of thing. And I kind of just reach down and I turn the hammer on and it starts to glow. And the dad is like, "Oh, I don't know how he's holding it, sweetheart. Maybe Thor gave it to him. I don't know." The hammer turns on and she goes, "Oh, Dad, the hammer's lighting up. Dad, the hammer's lighting up." And the dad goes, "Well, he must be worthy." And I am fucking cock of the walk. And not because of the hammer, but because that little girl in that moment had a special belief that superheroes are probably real.
Right.
Like, and it was just like, Dad, checkbox, like superhero checkbox. Did a good feels for a young person who still has a great imagination. Checkbox.
Yeah.
And then I'm fucking things lit up, and I'm still doing my like, yeah. I'm like, and I get up to catch up to the girls. I'm like, "Did you hear that?" And he's like, and the Emily and Piper are like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Little girl was like asking her dad how I was holding Mjolnir, and then I turned it on, and it was like, oh, he must be worthy." And like the girls kind of like, "Huh," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's right. Yeah."
That's funny.
And on that note, please be sure to return the cart.
Should wash your hands.
Wear the mask where appropriate.
Wash your ass.
Get the shot.
Check your oil, Tony.
Continue to register to vote and participate in elections.
Do the kindness.
Make the call if you need to.
Yes.
And we will catch you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.